Macak. I'm 29 years old. We're in Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm an engineer. When I was 13, I had a very bad asthma attack. Was getting ready to go to a basketball game and not feeling too good, not anything really out of the ordinary. We went ahead and did a breathing treatment, and normally that would perk me right up, but in this case it didn't work. Boom, I blacked out. The last thing I remember hearing was my mom kind of screaming, call 911, and then I was unconscious. Ambulance came out and they took me to the hospital, and then I was medevaced to St. Louis. This was out at the Lake of Egypt in southern Illinois, and there was about a 10-mile or so trip to Marion, and then St. Louis is about 2.5 hours away by car. And my parents, got there as quick as they could, and they had told them that I would live. They were able to stabilize me, and resuscitate me and stabilize me where I would be alive. But they also were preparing them that I wouldn't be the same kind of person, that there would be a lot of brain damage, and who knows what kind of condition I would be in when I woke up. I do have a little bit of a recollection of what I assume is the helicopter ride. Just kind of remember some wind and kind of flapping noises. So then I woke up in the hospital in St. Louis, extremely confused, because I had no idea, what had happened. The first thing I remember was I heard a nurse say, "If you can hear me, squeeze your mother's hand." So I did that, and then as I started to come to, sat up and said, "What happened? Where am I?" For me, it was instantly. It wasn't. It's kind of like going to sleep and you wake up. If you go on a long car ride and you're able to go to sleep, you wake up, you're there. That same kind of thing. Now, for everyone else, of course, it was a several-week process of not knowing and people visiting, but for me, it was instant. I've heard 20 minutes, which is considerable. In the intensive care there for probably a week or so before they moved me upstairs, and then spent another couple weeks at the hospital just recuperating. When I came to, everything was very atrophied. I had to learn how to walk again. Even just sitting up doing the basic things was a struggle. It took a while to get everything back. Even just walking around was a challenge. And I don't really have any memories of really what went on, other than I know I woke up at least during the helicopter ride. If I had any emotions, it was just that something's happening. I did wake up for something, so that was good, but wasn't awake long enough to puzzle out what was going on. There might be some brain damage, but nothing that I know. Kind of went through a process of working on the asthma and getting treatment for that, and I don't see any effects from that today. If it happened now, I think it might make me consider that a little bit more. There was a lot of support from the church, and that was one of the youth group leader actually was an EMT, and he found out about the ambulance going out there and had a group of people praying before I was even, in the hospital in St. Louis, or right after that. And then you hear that kind of story when you wake up and you hear that you're supposed to be, handicapped now, and you're not. It makes you think about it and think that there might have been a little bit higher intervention, but nothing stands out. It says oh, no, go back, go away from the light. There wasn't anything like that. Like say it happened now, have a lot of other things to reflect on, made a lot more choices, that's for sure. And that was one of the things the doctors told my parents, because they didn't really have a good reason for what had happened, but that during puberty had something to do with the onset of this. And really it was during that time you're changing so much and trying to figure out how the world works, trying to grow up and be a real person. It kind of just fell in with that. It was just part of that experience where it really wasn't life-changing, it was just part of life. I was wearing I had a new Nike t-shirt that I was really happy with at the time, and they had cut that off, and not in any way sad about that, and kind of helped put that in perspective. The day I could get up and walk pretty much by myself, there was a window right next to the room, and as I walked out of the room, I turned to the right and looked out this window and saw the arch, actually. And that was like, wow, this is so good that I'm able to do this. When I saw that, actually feeling a lot better, knowing that I was gonna, make it through it. If you get bogged down with so many different things, like I said, that T-shirt was kind of a big deal, and that was ruined. But that didn't matter. I remember going down to the room where they have school, and they were having a little play session, and I got to play with some of the kids. But then it was time for them to go to school, and I left because I wasn't going to be in class. And I remember that making me feel both glad that I wasn't going to be there anymore, but also really feeling a lot of empathy for the kids that are. It's a huge struggle for a lot of people and their families. Oh, I would definitely say it was a positive experience at the end. Knowing that you can go through something that should, kill you, or even best, if I was going to live, be pretty severely handicapped, and coming out of it smelling like roses, it's nice.